Okay, so here's another quadratic equation. We have to recall, standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. That's going to be super important when we're working with all quadratic equations. So we need to find our vertex here. Same way we did before. X equals opposite b over 2a. So our x coordinate, b is -2, so opposite of that is +2. And then 2 times our a term. Well, a is -1/3 here, so it's going to be times 2 times -1/3. I don't know that off the top of my head. So, actually I do, it's -2/3, but 2 divided by -2/3 is -3. So the x coordinate is -3, so we need to plug that in to our original here and find what y is. So we'll have y equals -1/3 times -3 squared minus 2 times -3 minus 3. So let's do that. A -3 squared is 9. Some of you might type -3 in your calculator and square it and get -9s because you need to put parentheses around -3. So we'll have -3 squared, which is 9, times -1/3, which is -3. Whoops. Yeah, which is -3. Had to check myself. And then we'll have -3 plus 6 minus 3. Okay, so -3 plus 6 minus 3 is 0. So when our vertex is -3, 0 then. So let's plot that. So -3, 0, and I'll even... Some people might say, well, why'd you write it above? Your graph is going to open that way. No, it's not. It is a negative graph. So just like with absolute values, remember when we had a negative absolute value, it opened, the v was down, right? Well, with with parabolas here, quadratic, when it's negative, the u is down. So there's my vertex, and then just like we did with absolute value, and just like we did with the last problem, we're going to pick a value of x, plug it in, and see what y is when x equals that. I think I did like -2. Okay, let's do that. -2. So we'll have -1/3 times -2 squared minus 2 times -2 minus 3. -2 squared is 4. 4 times -1/3 is -4/3 or -1.3 repeating. Plus 4, because -2 times -2 is +4, minus 3 gives us -1/3. So when x is -2, y is -1/3. So we could plot that point. -2, -1/3 would be about there. And let's look at -1. I think that's the other point I used. So we'll do y equals -1/3 times -1 squared minus 2 times -1 minus 3. Okay, let's plug that in. -1 squared is 1. 1 times -1/3 is -1/3. So we have -1/3 plus 2, because -2 times -1 is +2, minus 3 gives us -4/3. So when we're here, which is actually -1 1/3, so that will be about here. Now also remember, we can plot each of those points or corresponding points. Since this is 1 away to the right, I know we're going to have 1 to the left that's going to be 1/3 down, just like this one. So we'll plot that corresponding point, and then this corresponding point will be at -5, 2 away, and 4/3 down. Now also with absolute value, notice how this parabola is kind of more wide than the last one you graphed. And again, it's because we have a number smaller than 1 as our leading coefficient. Okay, so that is graphed. Hopefully that's enough examples and you'll be able to do the first 2 problems in the practice quiz.